Hi and welcome to this Key Learning Initiative video. Today's topic is measures of dispersion or spread, and we're working with range and quartiles. Before we get going, please remember to like and share this video. Also, if you would subscribe to my channel so that you can hear and see more and more videos. But let's get going with today's topics. We start off with a definition or two. Measures of spread. Okay, used to determine the spread of the data. Now that sounds obvious, but it's to look at how the data is distributed throughout our sample. It's to look at how it is distributed. That's your measure of spread. Alright, in this video we'll only use range and quartiles. There are other measures of spread that we can do, percentiles, etc., but in this video we're only doing range and quartiles. Together with measures of central tendency, we get a better picture of the information that we're working with. So the measures of central tendency, mean, mode and median, and your measures of spread together give you a much clearer picture of what is actually happening with your data. When we work with quartiles, you need to be able to work out a median. Now, if you don't know how to do that, I would suggest you watch my video on mean, mode, and median. I will leave the link in the comments section. Alright, so that's where you can get it. Otherwise, if you know how to do a median, that's fine. So let's carry on. Our first thing that we talk about is range. Your range is your maximum or your highest minus your minimum or your lowest. It's greatly influenced by outliers. Alright, so the things that are on the edges really obviously influence a lot. Let's look at an example. The following scores in a test were recorded. So 3, 5, 4, 7, and 9. And if we're going to work out our range, it's the maximum or the highest minus the minimum or the lowest. So what's the highest in our 5 numbers? Can you see it's 9? What's the lowest or the minimum? Can you see it's 3? And so my range equals 9 minus 3. That then gives me 6. And that's how you work out the range. Maximum minus minimum, or highest minus lowest. And that's your range. So on to quartiles. A few things about quartiles. Quartiles are values that divide the list into quarters. Quartiles, quarters. Now, very important, they are not influenced by outliers. Okay, so quartiles divided into 4 parts or into quarters, and they're not influenced by outliers. So let's look at it visually and see what we're talking about. So we have a blue rectangle, and that blue rectangle represents all the numbers or all the data in our list, whether it's a list of scores for a test, whatever it is. Now, if we break it in half, we get 50% of the data on the left hand side and 50 on the right hand side, the lower and the upper. Alright, we break them in half, if you can remember, using the median. Now, to do quartiles, what we do is we take the first or the lower half, break it in half, and the upper half, and again break it in half. And so we have 25% of our data in each part, and so we've broken it into 4 parts, into quarters. Now, quartiles are the actual values at that point. So quartile 1 is the value that splits the first quarter and the second quarter. Quartile 2 is the value that splits it right in the middle. That's known as Q2 or even the median. Lastly, quartile 3 is the value that splits it into the 3 quarters and then a quarter. So that's a visual representation of the quartiles. Now, often people say, oh, but quartiles are 4. Why do we have only quartile 1, 2, and 3? because if you have those 3 breaks, can you see it makes it into 4 sets of data, each a quarter in size. One last definition: interquartile range. Now, interquartile range is quartile 3 minus quartile 1. In other words, the value for quartile 3 minus the value for quartile 1. Now, if we understand quartiles, there's a process to working it out, and we've got 3 steps that we use. Okay, so steps for calculating quartiles. The first step, or step 1, put the list of numbers in ascending order. In other words, smallest to biggest. Now, sometime the question will be given to you and the numbers will in that list or in that order already. However, if they aren't, you have to put them in ascending order. Step 2, using the median, divide the data into 2 parts, an upper and a lower part. Okay, so we find the median of the data and we divide it into an upper part and a lower part. Step 3, calculate the median of the lower part and then calculate the median of the upper group or part. So we split the data in half in the median, and then we do the median again for the first half, and we do the median again for the second half. That means that the lower median is for quartile 1, the median for all the data is actually quartile 2, and the median for the upper half is quartile 3. Hopefully those steps make sense, but even if they don't, let's use them in 2 more examples and then they will make sense. Let's look. Example 1. Here I have my information, and it can be anything. Okay, we've got 6, 4, 5, 3, 1, 6, 7. Step 1. Put the list of numbers in ascending order. Now, hopefully you can do that and we don't need to go through that. But there you can see 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7. I've put them in smallest to biggest or ascending order. Step 2. Using the median, divide the data into 2 parts, the upper and the lower. So there's our data, and now we need to find the median. In that data, 5 is the median. Now, if you're not sure how I got 5, please watch my video, Mean Mode and Median. As I said earlier, it will be in the comments, or the link will be in the comments. And so 5 is my median. Therefore, I break my data into its 2 parts. Because 5 is my median, I have it all in the middle by itself. And I have 1, 3, 4 on the left hand side, and then 6, 6, 7 on the right hand side. So I break it into its 2 parts and I have the median in the middle. I set it out like that because it makes life easier later on. Step 3, and you can see at the top of the screen I've got my numbers set out. Calculate the median of the lower and then the upper group. So I have to calculate the median for 1, 3, and 4, and then the median for 6, 6, and 7. So here's my data with 5 as my median in the middle, and now I look at the lower median. Can you see it's 3? If I look at my upper group, can you see that the median of the upper group is 6? Okay, then quartile 1 is equal to 3, quartile 2 is 5, and quartile 3 is 6, and that's what I've calculated. Last but not least, if we want to do the interquartile range, it's quartile 3 minus quartile 1, which in this case is 6 minus 3, which equals 3. Let's do another example with our steps. Example 2, 7, 4, 4, 6, 6, 3, 1, and 8. Alright, step 1. Put the list of numbers in ascending order. And again, hopefully you can do that, but there, it's done now. Okay. Next thing, step 2. Using the median, divide the data into two parts, an upper and a lower part. So here is our data. That is where our median is. Because there's an even number, the median will be between 4 and 6. How do we work that out? Well, your median, you add the two numbers together, divide by 2. And so my median will be 5. Can you see I've written the median all by itself in the middle? Also notice the 4 numbers on the left and the 4 numbers on the right are included. When the median falls between two numbers, you still include the numbers that you used. So although I used 4 and 6 to work out my median, I still include them on the left hand side and the right hand side. Again, have a look. I use all 4 numbers on the left and all 4 numbers on the right when I divide my information in 2. Step 3. There's my information again. Calculate the median of the lower and then the upper group. So my lower group, I have 1, 3, 4, 4, and my upper group I have 6, 6, 7, and 8. Now, my median for my lower group, hopefully you can see, is between 3 and 4. My median for my upper group is between 6 and 7. Now let's work out our quartiles. Quartile 1 is 3 plus 4 over 2, which gives us 3,5. Quartile 2 is 5, we've worked that out, and quartile 3 is 6 plus 7 over 2, and that equals 6,5. Again, if we want to work out the interquartile range, we take the quartile 3 value and we subtract quartile 1's value, and so we get 6,5 minus 3,5, which equals 3. And so then we have our quartiles and our interquartile range. So thank you for watching this Key Learning Initiative video on measures of dispersion or measures of spread. We've dealt specifically with range and quartiles. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Please like and share this video so that more and more people can see the content. I hope this has been helpful.